We've had Into the Dark, we've had The Dark, and now we have In the Dark. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Netflix review. Now, today's review is a bit different because this is not a Netflix original series. It's just a series that transferred over from television, but everyone has been talking about it and telling me to review it since it came to Netflix. I don't know how popular this show was on the CW, but ever since it came to this platform, it's found a brand new audience. So today we are going to talk about it, mostly because I've been looking on YouTube and I haven't found hardly any reviews for this show, and I want to have a conversation, so I need you guys in the comments down below. Have you watched it? If you haven't, no worries. No spoilers in this review, and if you have, did you enjoy it? Let's talk about In the Dark. So this CW original show is all about a young blind woman who tries to solve her friend's murder. And sorry about the voice. I woke up this morning not feeling the best, but I'm gonna trudge through this review. Okay, so I started watching In the Dark, and I had the same fear that I have going into all of the CW shows, that it would fall into the same tropes that literally, and I enjoy a lot of the shows on that network, but literally all of these shows fall into, where most of the time they have a really interesting premise that they just don't take full advantage of. Instead of focusing on what they need to focus on, they focus on the romantic aspect of the story and bring in relationships and do all of the CW stuff that everyone always talks about. And even the shows that I love on that network, like The Flash, I'm a bit behind on The Flash, but I do thoroughly enjoy that show. And even The 100, both of those shows are great, but they do the thing that all of these shows do, right? Some people are going to love that. That's why the CW is so popular. Other people, especially since you have this on a brand new platform like Netflix, they're going to expect different things, maybe darker things, maybe things that aren't what this show is going to bring you. And does it do that? Yes, it does. But me saying it doesn't take away from what I enjoyed thoroughly about this show. I was a bit worried after the first episode because although I saw potential, I had a feeling the show just wasn't going to bring anything new to the table. It was going to go down the dry path of, oh, this girl experienced something awful in her life, and because she experienced that and that person meant so much to her, she's going to try her best to solve the case, and the show would be all about her solving the case with no twists, no turns, nothing to surprise the audience. And to tell you guys there's a twist in this show is not a spoiler, because when it comes, or when they come, because there are multiple things in here that surprised me, you don't anticipate what they are going to be. And because of those things, I found this show way more interesting than it could have been if it would have went down that path that I was afraid of after the first episode. It tried hard to be different than just another private investigator show. First off, you have a main character who is blind, so that just kind of adds to the entire situation. It adds to the tension of this show. Not to say that it's the most intense show you've seen on Netflix, because it does hearken in on the things that are a bit more lighthearted, a bit more comedic about the situation presented, which is someone very close to her has died and she has to figure out how it happened, why it happened, who's involved, because the cops aren't really doing anything about it. Then you discover more about her, then you discover more about them, and then the filmmakers don't just sit the murder victim to the side. There are episodes, situations, moments, family members, friends that dive into that character's past, that dive into why we should care about the person who was murdered, and then we come back to her as the main character trying to solve this murder. It's like they had way more character development here than I ever could have imagined with a show like this, and it added to the suspense, and it added to the thrills of what otherwise could have been a completely flat show. And there are elements in there that I just feel like they could have focused way less on, right? I want them to focus on the mystery, yes, and give us some turns along the way, but then you have all of the relationship stuff, which takes up a lot of time here. And it is fun, I will admit. The way they go about it is this girl is just stuck inside of this rut, stuck inside of her shell, and she doesn't want anyone to come into her life and change the way things are. She says in the show she does not believe in love. Well, deep down, you can tell she really does, but she's trying her best to push everyone out of the way and push everyone to the side. A lot of it does have to do with the disability that she has to suffer with, and it does take advantage of her every now and again. She gets in situations that she's not familiar with that just mess her up, mentally and physically at times. And as she starts to let more people in her life, she has her parents, but not a good relationship there in the beginning. She has her friends, but at times they bicker a bit more than you expect. But then she starts to let maybe romantic people into her life. She starts to open up to her parents a bit more. And by the time you're in episodes 5 and 6, she is already a different character than she was in the beginning, and that character arc continues, right? If she would have stayed the same character as she was in the beginning all the way into the final episode, and all the show was about was her solving this murder, sure, it would have been interesting, but it wouldn't have provided that character layers, and that's what I liked about her as a character. She is a layered character, and without her, I don't know how much I would have liked the series, because she really does carry it. Now, it's a hard thing to do, to play a blind person, and I have not asked anyone, I have not looked into how accurate this portrayal, this performance really was. At times, it did feel like she may have been focusing in on someone, right? It's a hard thing to balance as an actor. We saw it with Charlie Cox in Daredevil. The guy worked really hard. In season 1, you can tell he's getting there. He's not quite there yet. By the time you get to season 3, he had what felt like an incredibly accurate portrayal of how a blind person would look, would walk, would talk, and she does the same thing. Now, my wife walked in halfway through like episode 3, and she goes, it looks like she knows exactly where she's going, and she's looking around and all of this stuff, and I had to explain to her that the situation that she's familiar with in the show, where she grew up, all of the roads, the people, the places to walk around, she is familiar with. So I like the fact that she doesn't stumble around through the entire series. It felt accurate, it felt honest to me, and I just really liked her portrayal overall. A few minor nitpicks here and there, like I said, with the eyes, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't play in as importantly as it should, but she was very good. It is a tight rope to walk, and I feel like she did a good job. And some of the supporting characters were a bit much at times. Other supporting characters I thought were great, like the character of Jess and the character of Max. Both of those were really good. And once again, what you're here for, the mystery, you have to believe that she can do this. And it is a bit far-fetched at times. It's just some random person who wants to solve this murder. So there's only so much she can really do. Did she do a bit more than maybe is realistic? Yes. Were there moments in the story that were off-putting and just didn't have me locked in and focused as much as I was during other aspects of the story? Absolutely. It's not the best series I've seen all year. There are clear problems present, but going in not expecting much and having a pretty solid time with the series and these characters is really all I could ask for. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go 68%, a solid score for a solid season of television. And guess what? I'm excited for season 2. I want to come back to these characters because I really enjoy the dynamics, the relationships. They don't transcend romantic elements of certain other shows, but they go past that and they do something a bit different. And because of that, I had a good time with it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Did you enjoy this series? Did you like it even more than I did? I would recommend it. It's on Netflix right now, and maybe the CW streaming app somewhere. I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Truly appreciate it. Like I said, come back tomorrow morning, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. It truly helps this video out and this channel. You guys are the best, and I'll see you very soon.